A cafe conversation. A cafe conversation. It's a cafe conversation in the ladies' room. 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 A cafe conversation in the ladies' room.
Good evening, and welcome back to Cafe Conversations with the Ladies Room.
We're back. You've been away a long time, right?
No, we were here last week.
Oh, what I'm thinking.
I don't know,
Oh.
but yeah.
Vincent,
Whatever
Vincent.
island you were on, I think you're still there. That's what I think.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I understand.
I
I
think
understand. A lot of times I don't want to come back either. I don't want to come
No,
back.
I want to come
but-
back. I just need to remember that I was there.
Oh.
I
Okay.
just need to remember that I was here.
Oh.
That's kind of.
And I thought I had an unforgettable.
I
face,
see you too often,
You know.
so I don't
That's
remember
why
the
you
dates.
shouldn't remember my. That's why you should remember my face.
I do.
Well,
Well,
welcome to all of you out in the cafe tonight. Thanks for joining us again on this sunny Thursday evening. Okay, I mean it's about what 92,
mm,
92 degrees.
feeling like 102.
Yeah, sticky, nasty. But I'd rather the sun than the rain.
It was
You know.
raining. Did
Yeah,
you see it?
It did. It rained a lot earlier.
Yeah.
But we're going to get started with our show tonight. We got some good conversation. Tonight's show is called Calling All Shots. Calling All Shots.
All
Because-
them shots.
Because people are trying to call all the shots
Yes.
in several ways.
Yes.
More ways than one.
Yes.
Tonight in the cafe, we have one of our friends. We have Vincent Ford, community activist. How are you today, Mr. Ford?
I'm doing well. I hope you still say friend at the end of the session.
Oh,
Is that a threat?
Oh, no.
only a conversation.
I'm sure your
We should have
conversation
brought
rate.
some
Boxing
drinks or
gloves.
That's what
something.
I'm
Boxing
saying.
gloves.
I feel a threat.
I feel a threat too.
I feel a little threat going on there.
I feel it.
Just want to make sure that we stay
Friends.
focused and the truth comes out.
Okay.
There it is.
There
Well-
it is.
well,
Whoop. There it is.
Under oath, we will give you the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
And a few of my opinions.
And the CDC. Okay.
Yes.
So, with that being said, first and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give you all a disclaimer, and that is letting you know that all opinions and statements that are heard tonight on Cafe Conversations with the Ladies Room are those of the person who said it and not necessarily the opinions or statements of the Roots Living Ministry or any of its subsidiaries or affiliates. Okay?
Thank you, Miss Charisse.
So, but before we get into our topic, we're going to have my co-host Samantha share a little story with us, in her current events section tonight.
Yes. I'm going to give you a little bit of what Juicy's thinking.
Go for it.
So, a DoorDash delivery man left a note on a customer's door, which said, if you cannot afford a tip, then you should go pick up yourself.
That's funny.
Isn't it?
That's funny.
And then he continued to say, who do you think you are to order food and have someone come and bring it to you, to your door for free? And he put, again, for free. Wow. So his handle on Instagram is @FrenchFryThug. That's his name.
All
He's
right,
a
all right,
French
all
fry
right.
thug.
It says at French Fry Thug. He probably be the one eating your fries when he delivers them.
And that's, see, and the funny part is, that's not funny because I
It
know
is.
people who have complained about,
Their
ordering
fries
and
being
having,
missing.
yes, and the fries, they,
Sipping your soda, girl.
that's nasty.
I've heard of it too.
That's nasty, and it's upsetting. But
But
go ahead.
he posted a video about this letter on TikTok, and it sparked a lot of debate, and about tipping. Now, I was informed that tipping is, what did you tell me?
To ensure proper service. It
Right,
should
it's
have
to
been
ensure
done
proper
before the meal or any other excursion. It was done to make sure that the waiter or waitress, or in this case, delivery person, did the best job possible.
Right. So I read further, and it did say that before this DoorDash person delivers, they know if there's a tip involved. So you don't have to take the call if there's no tip involved, if you don't want to. And he continues to take the call and says that this person doesn't tip often.
Yeah, because not everybody tips online. Sometimes they'll tip in person when you get there.
Right.
So he was hoping against hope that this person would give a tip.
Well, now, with ordering through DoorDash, you do pay a service charge, and DoorDash does pay that delivery person. So your tip is at your discretion, and everybody doesn't tip. Some people think that what they pay as a service charge, is their extra payment. So how you get paid is how you
cheap
get
if
paid.
they do that.
They are incredibly cheap, and that's what this person felt.
Just my opinion.
It's mine too. But it was funny because DoorDash doesn't feel that that is a place for their company, and will investigate further about him placing that note on somebody's door. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, here's my thing. In the beginning, before you even place that order, they're already charging you a service charge.
That's what I said. Yes.
So, in charging you a service charge, why do I have to give you more money?
Your company
Because
should be
you're
working
cute.
that out.
Service charge doesn't go directly to the driver
It
or
doesn't.
deliverer.
But they
That's
need to work that out.
DoorDash's money.
But he's getting paid.
Yeah, just like restaurant workers are getting paid, but they live on what?
Tips.
Tips.
Well, I've never worked restaurants, so I
They
wouldn't
make next to
know.
nothing as an hourly wage,
Right.
and they make their money on tips.
Most of them want
Gotcha.
tips. So he also indicated that the person can right his wrong by sending him a tip through Venmo.
I love it. I love
Way
it.
to use technology. There you go.
Not even that. I think it's more so the audacity of
Of the person not to leave a tip?
the person to ask for one.
No, the person that didn't leave the tip. That's audacious.
No, not necessarily. In my
Maybe
opinion,
they didn't have any additional money to leave a tip. Seriously. Maybe they didn't have any additional money.
Right, and they couldn't get out to get their food on their own.
Oh, please.
But my situation is this. When you take these jobs that you know is your supplement income, your tips is your supplement income to your hourly rate, wage or whatever, you got to know that you might not get tipped. You might not get a tip. Like the cab drivers. They have a lot of expenses, and I'm talking all the cab drivers. We got cab drivers here, cab drivers in New York, whatever the case. They also like tips too.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's even hard to tip them cash. You can, but you can also tip them through the screen there. And they're taxed so heavily on everything, so they don't even get good tip money. You have to tip really high for them to see it,
That's
But
bananas to me.
It's terrible. I just thought it was funny to bring that, to the forefront today.
I'm just going to say this. I think it's a little bit distasteful, though, honestly, for you to come ask me for a tip. If I'm at a restaurant and I eat,
I pay for my food.
right, I pay for my food, and you come and ask me for a tip, that's even more of a reason why I probably wouldn't give you one.
Right.
Because I think that's...
Yeah.
I just think that's in bad taste. And also, if I think you deserve it, then I'll give it to you. You understand? But if you
Right.
ask for it, then that feels like you think I'm supposed to or I have to.
And some
And it's
restaurants will
customary. It's not mandatory.
they will put the tip already on your bill. Some, depending on how much you spend, they'll put it already in there because
Yeah,
if you're
and how
Or
many
spending
how
a certain
large the
amount,
group is.
Yeah.
yeah, or
Group's
how
over
large the
six or
group is.
over eight,
Right.
they're gonna add that mandatory 20%.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
well,
But I thought that was funny, and
well. Thank you for
yeah.
sharing that. And everybody,
I'm with
before
the French fry
you,
bully.
Yeah, the
You know.
French fry
yeah,
bully.
before you order from
DoorDash,
DoorDash
or
or
Uber Eats.
Uber Eats, just make sure you have an extra $3 to put in the tip. Okay.
Now you telling
Now
them
you
what to
gonna
put in
tell
there.
'em how much.
You know
I'm
what
just,
I'm saying?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just avoid the French fry.
Avoid the
bully.
bullies.
But moving on with our show, we're gonna move right into our topic because this has been a debate for the last couple of days, and not just within a conversation amongst us. It's been a nationwide debate. I mean, people are really losing their minds and in an uproar regarding vaccines
Okay.
and if people should be mandated to be vaccinated in order to do the things that they did prior to COVID, like going out to grab something to eat at a restaurant or taking in a movie or, you know, what is it, gyms, being able to go work out at the gym or, such places, but a couple of places, and let's start with New York because that's the one place that I had heard of or about was in New York. There has been a mandate, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Is it a state mandate?
No,
It's
De Blasio did it himself.
okay. So De Blasio has said that anyone who is not vaccinated would not be able to live the good life like those who are vaccinated. So my question to you tonight is, should he be able, and not him, just him, but in general, should lawmakers, those in office, be able to tell us that we have to get a vaccination if we're against it? That we have to get a vaccination in order for us to be able to go on and live our lives the way we want to live them. I'm putting it out there. Anybody is free to start.
Go ahead.
You want the
Okay. No, I do not feel that we should be forced to take the COVID vaccine
okay?
at all because it is, to me, a choice that you have to make for yourself medically. Not
Okay.
that someone else can medically make a choice for you when you are perfectly sane and able to do so yourself. I also know that HIPAA laws, to me, are being violated if they need to keep asking everyone for their vaccine card. You shouldn't be asking anybody for their vaccine card if that's a HIPAA violation. And that's a medical privacy that you're questioning.
Okay.
So,
So, do you feel like it's a
Excuse me.
humanitarian violation? Is it just a privacy violation? Do you feel like your rights to make a decision about your body and what goes in your body is being infringed upon by saying you have to have a vaccination?
yeah, my total rights are being violated because if I'm not going to have a choice whether or not I want to take the vaccine, in order for me to go in a restaurant, to a gym, to the movies, I feel like it's just like saying black people don't drink from that fountain, only white people.
Oh, please.
I'm just telling you how I feel. That's how I feel.
Mr. Ford,
Were you
have a
vaccinated as
rebuttal.
a child?
Absolutely.
Okay. Did they have the right to say that you had to be vaccinated in order to go to school?
They did, but
What's the difference?
but there are people who are not.
What's
who were
the
not.
difference now?
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. There
We
are
just
people.
experienced a pandemic, which has killed hundreds of thousands of people, and we now have a vaccine that says if you take this vaccine, you are protecting yourself, but more importantly, you're protecting the transmission to someone else. If you are a hospital worker, if you are a worker in a restaurant, you're handling the food that I'm going to consume, I would like to know that you have been vaccinated and that you're not subliminally passing along some germs that I'm going to catch because I may be at a higher risk factor. So yeah, I don't. I think the state has a right to set up a law that says a mandate is essential for the health and safety of the society in general.
But they're not
No problem with
guaranteeing
that.
your health and safety. They're saying also that you can contract the virus being vaccinated. You can spread the virus being vaccinated. And there was a cruise ship of fully vaccinated people who had a spread of the virus on the cruise.
So everybody on that cruise ship was vaccinated.
That you can't go on a cruise without being vaccinated.
No, yeah, right. I don't believe everybody was to begin with.
But that's my point. Then how did they get on the ship?
Show your papers.
That's what I'm saying. That's a violation. So
No,
now
that's not a violation.
now if you show your papers, who didn't show? Who didn't show their papers?
You get pulled over by a policeman. What's the first thing they ask you for?
Your ownership of
License,
the car,
registration.
Yeah.
Or
Show
insurance.
your papers.
That's you can show your papers. I get that, but who didn't show their papers on that ship?
Probably a lot of people.
That,
Well,
now whose fault is that?
the company.
That's, you
The
know what I'm
company.
saying?
But all right, so I have a thought, and this is my thought. If you've been vaccinated, supposedly the reason that you're being vaccinated is to protect you from getting the virus.
No.
Hold on.
That's
Let
not-
me finish. Hold on.
Mm,
Okay? Is to protect you from getting the virus. Okay? Now, what we're hearing, though, is that it's not necessarily protecting you from getting the virus, it's just minimizing the length of time that you have it.
Or the possibility of death.
Or the
Right.
possibility of death.
right.
Not a guarantee,
Right.
just
Right.
a possibility
Right.
of death.
A high probability
right.
Okay,
of
but
escaping death.
But here's the thing. There are many people who were not vaccinated, who have had COVID, who came out of it, and they're absolutely okay. Just as there are people who caught COVID who
Died.
have died.
Right.
Right. Now, same with the flu. There are many people, okay, and I'm only bringing up the flu because every year what gets pushed? Get your flu shot. Get your flu shot. Hey,
For years.
as a nurse, I was given that flu shot.
Me too.
I was given that flu shot. Okay? But the flu shot was not covering the current year. It was covering a former strain. Okay? And even with the flu shot, there were certain things that had to be taken into consideration, which I also think is not being considered in
The COVID.
people that's taking the COVID vaccine.
What are they?
Which is, okay, if the vaccination is not administered properly and not administered within the timeline that it's supposed to be, okay, it will not be effective. Secondly, hold on. Secondly, if you've already had an exposure prior to getting the injection, okay, you still can get sick, if not more sick once you've had the injection because it's already in your system. And the same thing happens with the flu. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, even in having this vaccination, okay, there are no guarantees. The same way there's no guarantees with the flu. You know, people are saying, okay, well, I'm vaccinated. Well, we don't know if that vaccine took, you know, if it did what they intended it to do in your body.
No.
Because everybody's body's different.
I also have a understanding of the fact that, you know, the side effects. There's a lot of side effects that people get from the vaccine. Nobody knows who's going to get the side effect. It only happens when you get the vaccine.
Is there any
So-
drug that you can take that doesn't have side effects?
Everything is a poison. I'm just saying the side effects with COVID that I've learned about and heard about are scary.
Such as?
Winding up in ICU from being allergic to something in the vaccine.
You can
or-
have an allergic reaction to just about any drug
But
out
this
there.
but this again is my point of the choice that I need to have if I want that vaccine or not. I have high allergies. I'm afraid to take the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
You can't guarantee that nothing's going to happen to
What
me.
does your physician say?
I don't believe all physicians.
I
Even
didn't
my
ask you
own.
that.
Even my own.
Why not?
Sorry.
Then why do you go to one? All right.
Because I need to. I need to go to a physician if I have some
So
kind of a problem
when
or whatever.
when you're sick, do you go to which doctor?
No, I go to the doctor.
Do you go?
I go to my doctor.
Oh, you go to a doctor.
Yeah.
And if he gives you a prescription, do you take it?
Yep.
But that prescription is going to have side effects.
Yep.
So you're willing to
Everything
do
you
that.
take has side effects.
Right.
But you also
Everything.
don't know how it's going to affect you, and
Right.
I think that's what the argument for many people is that I don't know how it's going to affect me until it affects me, and if it affects me in a way that could possibly be damaging to me, because we did hear in the beginning that like it did cause some neurological issues in the beginning,
There were 3 cases
whether it was 3
out of how
cases-
many millions of people.
But
Doesn't
so
matter.
you're
3
saying-
cases
but-
of a neurological
But what if
problem.
you were one of those 3?
Shame on you.
That's
Shame
not-
on you.
That's
Right.
not what I'm willing to take.
3 out of out of X millions of people that have taken the vaccine.
3 that was reported.
Oh, here we go with the conspiracies.
Not conspiracy theory.
It's not. It's
just
real.
It's a matter of the thought process.
I'm not even a
Okay.
Trump fan, and he talked about fake news. I'm on to something here.
Is that fake news?
Fake news.
Okay, no fake news.
No
here.
fake news
okay,
here.
We're not
not
spreading any
publicizing
fake
that.
news. We're just debating the
And we're
issue.
stating facts.
Okay, and we're stating
Opinions.
facts. Opinions. And
Right,
opinions.
facts and opinions.
Exactly. Okay, and the reason this is so interesting because last night on CNN in Tennessee, okay, there was a school. Was it a
School board.
A school board meeting, and at that school board meeting, 2 of the parents stood up. One was a nurse, and the other one I think was a doctor.
A doctor.
Okay, and said that, and all they said was, we think it should be mandated that the kids have on masks. Not even about
yeah.
that they should be vaccinated. They should have on masks in school.
Right.
Just to have an extra barrier, of protection. And I'm going to say these people were attacked, okay,
What?
verbally and physically at their cars, okay, because they wanted a mask mandate. And the other people was like, no mask mandate. I know where you live. I know where you are. What was even more sad was the police standing there in the midst of it and heard those people threatening those people and did nothing.
So again, that's why I go back to the water fountain thing. When you start to tell people, when you start to put people against one another, vaccinated people against unvaccinated people, you're setting yourself up for a lot of problems, because we should not be put against each other because someone's vaccinated and someone is not. How do you get to go places and be attacked because you're not vaccinated, or because you are vaccinated but they're not attacking vaccinated people? Unvaccinated people are the targets. So how do you make that okay?
Get a vaccination, you won't be attacked.
No. No.
What if I
What is up?
can't? What if I can't? Supposing I am that person who has underlying conditions and the vaccination could possibly make me really sick. Maybe even more sick than if I got COVID. You know what I'm saying?
I would say check with your trusted physician to make sure that you are not a candidate for the vaccination. And if you're not medically a candidate for it, then you're not medically a candidate for it. Simple. But those people are very, very, very rare that you are totally incapable of taking the vaccine.
I I don't know if I totally 100% agree with that.
It's
I'm gonna
okay.
tell you, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. I say that simply because I do believe people make mistakes. Doctors are not gods, okay? They're researchers, okay? What they do with medications is trial and error. And that's just across the board. I'm not talking about just the injection itself. I'm talking about all across the board.
It's true.
You know, taking a medication is trial and error.
Everything is
Okay.
clinically tested.
Exactly. Okay. Well, I mean,
Some
funny
doctors.
enough, some of those things you are part of the clinical trials.
That's right.
And I really honestly,
Not unbeknownst to you. You have to volunteer to be part of a clinical
No,
trial.
there are doctors who will medicate you, who will put two medications together because they think that this is going to work better for you, and tell you take this medication. If such and such happens to you, stop the medication.
That is not a clinical trial. That is
No.
one physician acting irresponsibly.
That's why I'm saying you are no.
no.
He's not acting irresponsible
Oh,
because he
no.
does know the medication. He does know what the medication does.
But if you're telling me that he's never put those two medications together for you
No,
before,
he may have put it together for someone else, and now he's
But not for
putting
you.
it together for you.
that's not a
But he
clinical
does
trial.
it. It's not a clinical
It's
trial.
still trial
It's-
and error to see if it's going to work.
Right,
If it
because he's
doesn't
not
work,
taking
then you
a
stop
group
the
of people.
medication.
But understand what goes in a clinical trial.
Right, and
they have a
that's-
placebo group.
Right,
And they have
right.
the person, and you don't
Right.
know whether or not you're getting the placebo
That's
or you're
correct.
getting the active ingredient drug.
Right.
So then you volunteer to take that, knowing that there could be some risk. Why? Because it could be a greater good. If this drug has found that in the group that it is efficacious,
Yeah.
then it goes through the process through FDA. And then they say, okay, this drug is safe to use. It has X, Y, and Z side effects.
And the vaccine has
primarily
not
it's
been
excellent.
FDA approved.
I'm sorry?
And the vaccine has not yet been FDA approved.
You want to bet? Oh, yeah. How are you saying that? It's called an Emergency Use Authorization Act.
That doesn't mean it's FDA approved.
It went
It's
through
an
the
emergency.
FDA.
Yeah, but it's not FDA approved. It's an emergency, whatever you said,
when
because
it
I
is-
did read that.
So when
But
it is
it's
approved
not-
by the FDA, then you're going to be standing in line to get it.
No.
Well, then why'd you bring the point up about it not being
Because
FDA approved?
because FDA approvals take a long time, and this did not go through FDA approval for the length of time that it normally would. And I'm not in favor of taking anything that is just brought up and put out like if it's the end all be all, and then being forced to take it.
So we should have not approved it for an emergency use. We should have allowed hundreds of thousands of more people to die because we didn't push this vaccine out into the public.
This is not going to.
That would have been your decision.
This is not
Okay.
going to be at the hands of them.
So-
First of all, when COVID first came out, it was attacking the elderly. I've never heard of a virus picking and choosing who it gets, but it was first attacking the elderly. So then they said, no, it's attacking people with underlying conditions, and then more people started to die. Yes. Then people who had no underlying conditions started to die. Now we have the variant, the Delta.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, kids are dying. How did it choose to attack children? What is going on with this Delta virus that now kids are hospitalized at an enormous rate,
Exposure.
and kids can't even get the vaccine yet?
Under
So
12.
now, right, under 12, and those are the kids that are being more hospitalized. A lot of them. There's some teenagers too, but there's a lot of babies, 11-month-olds, and children that are being hospitalized on ventilators with the Delta virus.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, what happened to COVID? What happened to the COVID vaccine that
Well,
wasn't getting the
Their
kids?
parents weren't vaccinated.
Ooh.
What?
I don't know.
What?
Their parents weren't vaccinated.
Can't say that.
I'm talking about the kids
Right.
that didn't get COVID during the time of the heightened COVID pandemic.
Right.
No kids were really getting it. They were saying no kids could get it. They were saying pets couldn't get it. Now they're saying pets is getting it, kids is getting it.
Dogs have had it. Yeah. Okay, so can we go back just for 2 seconds?
Sure.
And this is for everyone watching. Okay, according to CNN Health, Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. I'm sorry. Okay, and this is as of yesterday, the 8th, the 9th. Okay, a couple of days ago. So, Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine is currently only authorized for emergency use in the United States, but its full approval by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration could happen within weeks.
Right. That's
Okay.
what I read as well.
So, just to put it out there, because, people are like, well, is it approved or is it not approved? It's still in the process. So, let's
Which is an
have that clear.
administrative issue. It is not a clinical issue as to why it's not approved. It's an administrative issue. There are certain steps that have to be taken administratively within the FDA before the drug is fully approved. The clinical trials have been done. The results and the data have been verified. Now the FDA has to go through their administrivia in order to make sure that it gets approved. So there you have it, folks.
What administrivia? What is that?
Any governmental agency has forms and procedures.
But we have a
that they
pandemic
gotta go
going
through.
on.
Right.
What's the delay?
The delay is their process. You wanted it to go. You wanted the process to take longer.
Yeah,
in
I
order
do.
for you to feel safe. Now, when I'm saying it's going to get approved by the FDA, you say, well, why should they? You can't have it both ways.
No. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
All right.
But there are 9 states, about 9 or 10 states that are trying to mandate that they do not have to be. They are not wanting to be mandated to take the vaccine, and they're putting through their little.
Well, I think there's people all over the country, probably the world too, but people all over the country who do not want to be mandated.
Right.
Because
Their
people
livelihoods are being affected.
Right. I mean, well, not even so much, but people don't want to be, generally speaking, people don't want to be told what to do. And definitely not told what to do with their bodies or their children.
You get told what to do every day,
I understand that. That don't mean I like it.
but you obey. Classic case. The most unpopular law, more than just this vaccine,
Roe versus
income tax. But we pay it. We may not like how the government is using that money. We not want them to build bombs and war essentials, but they do, and you pay it. And if you don't, there's either a financial penalty or your rear end can land where? In jail.
But that's not a direct
But
effect to my health.
here's the other thing too. With your taxes, they're taking that before you. They take their taxes before I even get my check.
That's correct.
So I don't even. Once again, you're putting me in a situation where I don't even have a chance to say no, or I can't do it this week, or I don't want to do it because I don't agree. Even so, you're still mandating me to do something I don't want to do, which is what I'm saying about the vaccine.
But you do.
Is that, but you do.
You do. You pay your taxes.
Yeah, but what she's
And you
saying
move right
is
along.
mandating.
Right, but what I'm saying is
the vaccine.
the mandate, okay, is what people have a problem with. The moment you go, you have to.
Or else.
Exactly. That's where it becomes a problem. Yes, people who want to drive without a license, it's a mandate. People who can't get their licenses.
Drinking and driving, you
Exactly.
can't do it.
You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to do it and all like that, but people do it. Why? Because they don't like being told I can't go out, have a good time, have a drink, and then drive myself home.
Tough luck. Society has a right to protect itself. You do not have. What's the old
So
saying?
I don't have the right to protect myself or my
What?
kids? If I think not having the vaccine is protecting me or my children or my home, I don't have the right to say no, I don't want to have that vaccine
Not if
because I don't think it's good for me.
You can say that. then live somewhere else.
Why?
Where?
Why?
Why do I have? But why do
It's
I have
all
to
over the
leave?
world.
If you're vaccinated, okay, and
Why don't
you
y'all
having
go
the
live somewhere else?
vaccine, you know, you having the vaccine is supposed to minimize your exposure and your illness if you happen to get it again. You know what I'm saying? Then why is it that I have to, exclude myself from society when you're supposed to be protected? What can I possibly do to you?
I don't know.
And they have many, many tests that people can take to see if they have the vaccine, and they're doing that as well. Test every week. Test every week. Test every week.
Mm-hmm. Does an employer have a right to mandate that their employees be vaccinated?
Phew. Oh.
They should not.
Why not?
Why are you trying to control my life?
Then don't work here.
But why would you say that?
That's not my business. You're affecting potentially affecting my customers.
Okay, so
As
fine.
the employer, I have the right to say,
Good.
You do this or you don't work here.
Right.
You have
you
free
can
will.
do that.
Leave.
But
You
if there are other ways to minimize other people contracting, COVID, such as masks, such as hand washing, such as gloves, such as putting you over in a private office or whatever, as opposed to telling me I cannot work
That's
here.
correct.
Why not consider that option as opposed to, well, if you're not vaccinated, you have to lose your job, which now creates other situations for me to have to go through. You know what I'm saying? Because you're taking away my employment, which is going to take away my money.
I didn't take away your employment. You took it away when you
No,
refused
you did
to
not.
obey my
No,
my
you
company
did
rules.
not. No, you did not. Because there was no such company rule when you hired me. Now you want to make a company rule and then tell me, I didn't do this to you. You did it to yourself. That's a cop-out. A lot of people use it. A lot of people use it to make themselves right. That's not right. Making you right to tell me I can't work here because I'm not vaccinated. Are you kidding me?
And
No.
again,
Everything
what
is
if
about
I am?
my. Just because you have a company, now you get to run my life and tell me, but if you don't
No, I
like
get to run my company.
No, but you get to tell me everything that you like and you feel because it's your company.
Right.
But yet you need people to work your company.
I'll
But
find
again,
But
people
you
that are
can't-
vaccinated.
What if I am a model employee?
That's not-
What if I am doing my job and the reason
Practical.
I'm not vaccinated is because I have some underlying condition that could possibly be detrimental, okay, to me having that vaccine.
And I said earlier that if there is a legitimate medical reason why you cannot take the vaccine, then that is something that has to be respected.
There's a lot
But
of
if you're
things.
just going to come to me
You
as
should
my employee,
respect
hold on. If
anyone
you're going to come to
saying
me
it.
as my employee and say, I just have this philosophical difference with an issue of taking a vaccine, I respect your philosophical decision. Punch out right now.
But
You don't respect it.
Isn't the
You
risk
don't.
still the same? Whether I have underlying conditions which prevent me from getting the vaccine, and I just don't take the vaccine because I don't believe in it. Isn't the risk still the same?
But your attitude and reasons why are
What
not.
does that
I
have to do
a
with anything?
Because you are legitimately telling me that you have a medical reason why you cannot do it. If you're just going to come
What
to me with
does an
attitude and
there's
say
no
that I
attitude.
don't want to take it,
There's no attitude because you have to understand a person has a reason why they don't want to take it.
You can-
And their reason belongs to them.
Right.
Just like you said, as a company owner, your reasons are your reasons. Now
Right.
I'm going to go find a bunch of vaccinated people to work for me because I don't want unvaccinated
Right.
people working for me. Is, first of all, not practical, but can take some time to do. And you're separating people for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. Your separation is just not the answer.
What about the employee that's been vaccinated and then ends up getting sick from the Delta variant?
what about them?
You
They've
can't
been
shrug your
vaccinated.
shoulders about
Right.
everything
But
that
they've been
happens when
vaccinated.
But what we said earlier is that the vaccination is not a prevention of it. It just says that it will mitigate, if you do get COVID again, it mitigates the probability of you dying. If you're not vaccinated, you have a higher probability of, that's it, see you later.
Granted, I get COVID. But if I'm unvaccinated and never get COVID, never take a day off of work, and I'm never sick, Okay? What's the problem? But the person who might have been vaccinated, who actually contracts COVID, okay, the Delta variant on top of that, which is
the probability of someone unvaccinated getting it and someone that is vaccinated getting it dramatically different. The probabilities are higher that if you're unvaccinated, you will not just get it, transmit it to someone else and potentially die. If you're vaccinated, you may catch it, but you're not going to get that ill. That's the difference.
It's not a guarantee,
you don't know that.
There's no guarantee of that. Even though the probability is high,
the data
there's no
is
guarantee.
Out there.
It doesn't matter. It's still not a guarantee. And there are people who have died, who have been vaccinated, who caught COVID.
How many?
I don't care how many.
Oh, you don't?
Just like you don't care who you fire and who you hire.
No, I didn't fire anybody.
No, I'm just... You know what I'm saying. You use the example of getting rid of people who you want to take the vaccine and they don't want to take the vaccine for whatever the reason. Just like religious reasons.
Right.
People have religious reasons why they won't do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the vaccine, but other things too. They still need to make a living. They still need to work.
Then go work someplace else.
Why is that an attitude? Because that to me, that's an attitude. An attitude. I'm not bringing you an attitude when I tell you that I prefer not to take the vaccine for health reasons or for reasons that whatever my reasons are.
So my job requires you to work Friday nights and Saturdays, but your religion says that you can't work in those days. Do I have to keep you hired?
If everybody had your attitude, it would be a mess.
No,
because I'm telling you,
do I have to keep you employed?
If you're a private company, no.
There you go.
But that's not there you go, because like I said, if everybody had that attitude, we'd be living in a true mess. Because I do know people who work in situations where they're clergy people. They can't work on Sunday. So that job says, okay, let me alter your schedule. And you don't have to work Sunday, because there are people who are not of the cloth or don't mind working Sundays, and they'll work those Sundays that you can't work. That person keeps their job, everybody's cool, everybody's fine. But a person who turns around to tell people, you can't work here on Sunday and I need you Sunday, go somewhere else, is really, really not practical and not sympathetic to anyone's way of living and respecting their beliefs.
Gee, I didn't know that business was responsible to be sympathetic.
You know business is ruthless and cruel.
Absolutely.
So if that's how you run it, that's how you run it. Everybody doesn't run business that way. And that's how we get to where we are today. Everyone doesn't run that way.
I see both sides of the situation. I understand why it would be an employer or even the school system would say that teachers would need to be vaccinated because it's a safety measure. Okay, it reduces the chance of the children possibly getting it, especially now that the Delta variant is running rampant. Okay, and they're finding, like you said earlier, it's children that are right now the primary focus. On the other hand,
wait a minute, so are you telling me that school boards have the right to say that their teachers have to be vaccinated?
No, she said she can understand why they would.
I can understand why they do.
Should they?
Should they be allowed to say?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody should be mandated to do anything with their body that they don't want to. That's just my opinion.
Right.
Okay? Again, if we're going to run with the notion that you have to look out for the masses, and if that means in looking out for the masses, you
we give up certain rights.
You give up not even that. What do they say? For the good of the many, you sacrifice the few.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I do believe that a lot of people live by that. If we fire a few teachers who choose not to be vaccinated and all like that, then we still kind of win because everybody else will be vaccinated and the kids will be safer.
But there's a lot of talk in that area and talk in that respect, but you also have situations where people will say that there's a mandate, and then there's a few that get by. Because I know you.
Mm-hmm.
You know I don't want to get vaccinated, but let me work anyway. You ain't got to tell nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got an unvaccinated
That's
person
piss
working.
poor management and leadership. Fire the manager.
It's all over the world. It's that way. It's just that way. So you can't really get around it, and you can't get by it, because people will do that. People will, just like you said, it must have been people didn't show papers or something on that boat for them all to get, for an outbreak to happen when everyone's supposed to be vaccinated. It's still going to happen. So why take my right away? It's still going to happen. People are still going to get sick. People are still going to die. People are still going to not get as sick. People are still going to carry the virus and not ever get a symptom. It's a virus. There's so many of them out here. It's just like chickenpox, rubella. It's all a virus, and people are vaccinated against just those childhood diseases. But this right here is new, and it's too new for me.
Actually, I wasn't vaccinated against chickenpox.
A lot of people. No, we weren't.
I just had the chickenpox.
We weren't as kids. We didn't have a vaccine when we were growing up. My kids did.
We had the chickenpox, and then it was like I never got it again.
You have the antibody now.
But the thing is, no, you cannot get chickenpox. But later on in life, you might be susceptible for shingles.
My kids got chickenpox vaccines, and my kids got chickenpox. They did not get the outbreak all over. They might have gotten 5-6 pox,
and it was
very minimized,
right?
Which is what they say about most vaccines. Now everybody doesn't get, let's say, rubella. Just because you got the measles, mumps, rubella shot doesn't mean you're going to get that, and it's going to be minimized.
What about the polio vaccine?
Same thing.
It has done wonders.
It has
basically eradicated.
It has.
So would you fight again against the polio vaccine?
But I think I think the difference with the polio vaccine and with the one for COVID is there has been decades of research and testing that went into that polio vaccine and stuff. I think what is sparking the fear in many people is that the vaccine was made in such a short time frame.
Was it really? Was it really? Wait a minute.
The government said that in the beginning.
That vaccine.
Hold on now.
That vaccine was in preparation for years and years against other strains of COVID. COVID is not new to our society. So it's
new to humans.
All right. I'm just going to read you.
It's new to humans.
According to CNN Health, to qualify for emergency use authorization, COVID-19 vaccine makers submitted about 3 months of clinical trial data. This included at least 2 months of safety data on fully vaccinated participants, since most vaccine side effects occur 2 to 3 months after the vaccination.
Right.
Okay? So I do believe, one, part of what people are saying is, okay, you went 2 to 3 months, and you went based on that 2 to 3 months. But what happens 6 months down the line? What happens 9 months down the line? What happens years down the line? When things start to show up. And that's what people are worried about. It's not necessarily what's going to happen today, because whatever is going to happen to you may not show up unless you have an allergic reaction. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you have an allergic reaction, it may show up right then and there.
So then what's your solution? Your solution is to have years and years of longitudinal studies on this new drug, on this new vaccine. Hundreds of thousands of more people die because, hey, we've got some clinical data that says it's good. It's a good drug. But, we wanted to have a longitudinal study to make sure. Is that your premise?
No.
My premise is don't mandate me. Keep doing your study for however long it takes. Let people who want the vaccine get it. People who don't want the vaccine has their choice not to get it.
But you're arguing that it shouldn't even be released right now because the studies weren't
it's released. It can be released. You can take it.
And I never said that it shouldn't be released. And I don't think people are saying that it shouldn't be released. I think people are just arguing the fact of...
Don't mandate me to take it.
Right, don't mandate me to take it right now because I'm not comfortable. And if I'm willing to do something else to minimize
contracting it or
even
it.
transmitting it, then give me the opportunity to, take the responsibility to do what I need to do.
But
make
those
sure
are
that
the same
doesn't
people that
happen.
are arguing against masks also.
Not all
life.
of them. Not
Pretty
all
much.
of them.
There's a consistency.
them.
It's a consistency between the anti-vaxxers and those that are anti-mask. There's a consistency between the two. So they're not willing to take. They just think that everything is a violation of their rights. And
there are people like that, but there are people like that in the
In
world.
the United States, nothing is unlimited. Everything has restrictions.
True.
So therefore,
I agree with that.
if the state says for the greater good, I have to make sure that my society is going to be safe, they have a right to say that.
The problem
and to protect
is we
it.
do not believe that that's what they're doing. That is not what they're doing.
But is your belief based in reality? Is it based in data, or is it just based in this ethereal belief system that we have
I'm
no
looking
idea?
at what I'm seeing. I'm living it right now. And I don't believe what they're saying and what they're telling me.
Based on what, though?
What I'm seeing.
How limited is that? Wait, 4 people? 5 people?
I'm not into
I tell you what,
statistics.
Samantha,
really.
I have a new drug that I promise
That
you
lose
will
weight?
work. All right, that'll help you. That'll make you lose weight tomorrow. I've tested it on 1 person. Are you going to take that drug?
No.
Why not?
Because it's not enough people that
Right.
you tested it on.
Suppose I say I've tested it on tens of thousands of people, and 90% of it works. Are you going to take that drug?
I might.
You might.
I might.
Suppose I tell you that I've tested it on millions of people, and 87% of the people lost the weight. Are you going to take the drug?
I might. Now that's a weight loss drug.
But it's in your body.
It's in my but it's
What's
not
the
a it's
difference?
not a COVID vaccine.
What's the difference?
It's not a COVID
COVID's been
vaccine.
tested 87 to 93% of the time. It is effective.
No.
They're saying that it works.
I know.
I believe that the introduction of something that has already proven that could kill you is the problem. If you say, well,
Yes.
wait,
Roll that
no, roll that back. People have died from COVID, have they not?
Hundreds of thousands.
Okay, so the
How many
COVID
have died from the vaccine?
I don't
There
know.
are
That's
people
not,
who
that-
have.
You don't know.
No,
Well,
there
wait,
because
let me
they're not
finish
telling
my
us.
point. Let me finish my point.
Cheers.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
They're
My
not
point
telling us.
is that those that are getting the COVID vaccine,
Yes.
just like the flu shot.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
they're-
not comparable.
Hold on.
But go ahead.
So none of your
Hold
stories
on.
are comparable then.
There
That
are
diet
lot-
pill was not comparable. Sorry.
That's okay. You're introducing, okay,
Mm-hmm.
the actual virus into your body so that you could build up antibodies to it.
Okay.
Okay? People fear the fact that if I could die from COVID already, okay, what's stopping me from dying from COVID if you're putting it in my body? The whole point was for me to stay away from it.
Because it is a tested vaccine where they use a certain percentage of that antibody and inject it into you, and they know you're not getting the full bore version of it. Enough to build up some antibodies. And it's been tested on millions, not 1 or 2, not 10 or 20,
Tested
on
millions. It's been
of
given
people.
to millions of people.
It's called a clinical test.
It's not been I wasn't
People
no,
volunteer
we weren't
for it. You're not
Yeah, but
forced
millions
into it.
did not.
So
It's
so
been given to millions, but not tested on millions.
I'm just saying there's like so many avenues that you can actually you have to take into consideration, okay? And one of those are let's just take for example people who are immunocompromised. It is said that those people should have the vaccine.
Yes.
Yesterday, okay, they introduced the notion that people should not only have 2, they should possibly have a third one because that
booster.
that would boost immunity.
Right.
Okay? But suppose it doesn't.
But not
You
even
don't
that it
know that-
doesn't. Why are you only giving it to the immunocompromised people when we all
Well, supposedly
need
they're
it?
the ones that need more of it. That's why they're suggesting a third one for people who are immunocompromised.
They also
you
said-
get booster shots for several different vaccines that you're required to take, and you get a booster shot for that. I don't see anybody making a big argument about why we have a booster, because it's going to give you additional protection. Tetanus, you get boosters all the time. Okay. Well, you're running out of time, I think.
But you know what? I just want to make
and
a
I've been
st- I
proven,
just want
and
to
I've
make
been
a
proven
statement.
right again, but that's okay.
I just want to make this statement too, that I personally was exposed to, I was stuck by an AIDS needle, right?
Gotcha.
And I was offered AIDS medication to take because of it, to reduce or to stop whatever could be happening to me. I refused it. I was never mandated to do it. I should not have been mandated to do it and wasn't, and nothing happened. I took whatever other stuff and then didn't take that.
So you
and
took
I'm
some
fine.
some antivirals.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to introduce you to Pastor Carlos. Because
Pastor Carlos, how are you?
Pastor Carlos wanted to share an opinion.
So this is the big topic, huh?
Yeah,
It is
today.
the big topic.
It is.
I mean, you know what? In my opinion, I think everybody have the right to first, choose whatever they want on themselves. You know what I mean? Make that clear, no? After that, listen. Let's be honest. We have information from different
Sources.
directions, from everywhere, and the truth is, if you start corroborating all this information from both ways, they both lack in everything. You know what I mean? I'm not taking one side or another. I'm not. The whole leadership right now, as it is, got so much mixed information that at this point, people don't know what to believe anymore.
Because there's a lot of misinformation that's being put out there by.
But how do you know
And we understand that. I do understand. This is exactly what I'm saying. The question is then how we decode this and let the truth talk to us. It's science is the truth here. If you follow the science, it's going to tell you a lot of stuff. I just heard you guys talking about different vaccines and viruses. Until this day,
Pfizer,
we don't
Moderna,
have
Johnson & Johnson.
No, but I'm talking
Why?
about the tetanus and all the others, right?
Yeah.
These are vaccines that have been tested for 10 years. This vaccine right now, it's being approved as an emergency.
Right.
It's not even a USDA approved fully.
Right.
For those, many people have put it on, but nothing have happened. Let's be honest about it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's true. And many have put it on, and something has happened.
My son.
So you see,
My son.
we have to
Your
look
son
for
what?
truth.
He took the vaccine
you
and
so
got
much.
deathly ill. He's all right now, but he was very sick. The day he took it, he had symptoms, and he went home like everybody said. That's normal. You're having normal symptoms, and every day he got worse. Every day he got worse. He hasn't taken the second one yet, but just that first shot. Now he's scared, and he's an asthmatic. So now he's scared to take the second one, and the days that he got worse, he said, let me go back to the doctor. When they tested him, he was COVID positive.
Okay.
Wow.
And so this is my point exactly what I was saying.
And he's
earlier.
the one child we didn't want to take it.
He could have been
Right.
COVID positive before he had the
could have,
vaccine,
and
which
they
is
did
why,
not test him.
Which is why.
And they didn't test him.
And also, okay, the simple fact that, like I said earlier, for people who did not follow the timeline like it was supposed to be followed, might have gotten one injection when they should have had both, but they never got the second one, or they waited too late to get that second injection. Now that first one
It's
has
ineffective.
now, dissipated out of their system. Even though they got a shot, does not necessarily mean they have been vaccinated against
Is that a
it.
fault of the vaccine?
It's not a fault of the vaccine.
So the
but
vaccine probably could have worked.
It's still a
I think it's the fault of the leaders that they didn't put a proper the proper medication for us to use. It's been the issue, right now.
Yeah.
Regardless, like I said, regardless when it comes here leadership, I'm talking about because I'm talking
That's
about the
who we're-
whole thing.
right.
This is not one thing that you can say. Well, these people are doing not this. No. They both in bed when it comes to all of this. So that's the key. What is it? What is the truth? We have heard so many things since the beginning.
people don't know what to believe, and they're afraid to step out on faith and say, you know what, I'm gonna
I'm not
take
faking
it just because.
That's it.
Just because everybody else is doing it. This is not a situation.
And they're not dying.
No, some of them.
Everybody else
Some
is
of
taking
them
it.
are.
Sure. Again,
Well, you
what
know what?
percentage?
But there's
What
a-
percentage of
Why
those
does it
die?
need that
There's a lot of
number?
people-
Why
but
do you
there's
need
a
that
lot of
number?
people who
that's
didn't
what
take it and
science
not
does.
die and did
Science
not
looks
die.
at the
Yeah, but
nature of it.
I need to be able to choose.
There is nothing 100%.
Science can do
So
that
you're only
for the
going to take
masses
something
all
that's
they
100%
want.
proven that it's going to work. If it's not 100%, you're not going to take
I
it.
didn't say that. I did not say it needs to be. Nothing's 100%. I work healthcare. I went to nursing school. I know nothing's 100%. I
Right.
know medication is poison. It's pick your poison. It's
So
going to
what-
prolong
what
your
per-
life. That's
what
about it.
percentage
I don't need the
of
percentage.
efficacy-
I don't need it. I need to be
What's gonna
able
make
to
you feel
choose.
safe?
I need to be able to choose.
I'm
I
gonna be
need to
honest
be able
with
to
you.
be comfortable.
I think that we sometimes need to listen. I just, when she said that right now, it just give me that light. No, she's saying that she's a nurse. She did this. She did that. She's been on the field.
I didn't finish nursing school, but
Oh,
I
I'm
went
sorry.
to nursing
Don't
school.
worry.
But go ahead,
you
go ahead.
there, okay?
Yeah, I'm
you
there.
in that field, right? and you went there, right? So, and sometimes we're listening to people with different motive. What is the motive that you have behind telling me put it or don't put it? You have to question that and see what it's the pure intention when you are talking to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
If
I
we look at
agree.
those things, I think we could get to the truth real fast.
Right. Because there are doctors and nurses who don't want to take it.
It is divided right
There
now.
are doctors and nurses
as
who
many
have
as they
not
want
taken
to,
it.
yeah.
You know, I mean, there are doctors and nurses who are taking it just like lay people, and then there are doctors and nurses who are like, I'm not gonna do this.
And
You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do this.
I personally know
But
some.
I understand that my job puts me at risk because I'm on the front line for taking care of the people who
have
are
it.
coming in with
Right,
COVID.
right, right.
You know what?
I think it's fear. It's a lot of fear because people have a lack of understanding because there's mixed messages about what it is, where it came from,
What's
how
going
it
on.
generated, testing results and stuff. And I do believe, okay, that a lot of times we get a lot more of this many people did well with it than we do this many people
Didn't.
got sick and didn't do well with it.
And there are numbers in both directions.
Exactly.
Yes.
Which way is a greater preponderance of numbers?
It doesn't matter. You still need to know so you can make your own decision. You
Right,
don't
you
need to be
know.
mandated. You do not
No,
need
I
to be
said,
mandated.
which
That's
way-
what
which-
our show was about. The
Is the drug
mandate.
more efficacious than not?
I don't know.
Look at the science.
No.
Is the drug more efficacious than not? Are more
I don't
people
know.
are more people being healthy?
I don't know. I don't know
Well,
that.
then look at the data.
People
Look
can
at
still
the
be
data
getting
and
sick.
you will know.
Oh, we have to go.
Yeah.
People still don't know
Nah.
if they're going to get sick
We're
later.
gonna fix this tomorrow morning. You guys are gonna come and we're gonna finish this at the mob.
But people do
That's
not
right.
know if they're going to
Cheers.
be sick years from now.
That's right.
From
And
that
that's the
vaccine.
fear. That's the fear. It's not about what happens today.
Irrational fear.
Thank you,
It's not
Pastor.
irrational fears. Ladies and gentlemen,
Sorry,
we
ladies
ran
and
over a
gentlemen.
little bit, but thank you so much for sticking in there with us. What do
hearing-
you think?
and hearing the
Do you
truth.
think you should be mandated to be vaccinated, or do you think you should have a choice about what goes into your body and what happens with your body?
And we are still friends, and we'll probably go out to eat. Everybody.
Well, actually, no.
Oh, right.
You got
So,
someplace to be.
We're
That
gonna
was
say
just for them.
thank you so much for checking in. We're glad you joined us in. Wow, I'm
In the
sorry.
cafe.
Yes, the conversation is still in my head, and I'm so sorry that we have to go. But like Pastor Carlos said, catch us tomorrow on
the mob.
On the mob. At what time?
11.
Catch us tomorrow morning on the mob at 11 a.m. We will continue this conversation. You guys have a great night.
Have a
We
great
love
night.
y'all.